All right, I look at one example like inner city gangs, right? If you look at like inner city gangs, they were really like persecuted. All right, I look at 100% by police departments and the government. What did America do to end the ideology or the practice of the KKK at all?
So let's dial this back to end the practice of the KKK. I want to start with saying to you what percentage of Black Americans black homicides are committed by white people?
That's just like me saying how much percent of homicides. It's like you can ask that for any.
No,
race.
I'm just asking a question. I'm not trying to walk you into a trap.
I don't really study statistics because statistics you could look at any race and look at numbers of killings and murder. So.
Would it be fair if I said that black people are racist towards black people right now?
Would that be fair?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think everybody's a little racist.
Do you think that we're racist towards each other?
No, I wouldn't say racist.
I find it interesting. The hyper focusing on the KKK, which killed thousands of Black Americans.
I would say that America kind of conditioned, like, if you say black people are racist, that came from America's history. That's just what.
What? I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
I would say if you asked me if you think we're racist to each other.
Yeah.
I don't think so, but if we were.
Okay, because we're killing ourselves, just so you know. Like we're at a way faster.
You can say every race is killing themselves.
At a way faster and higher rate than any person in terms of white supremacy could ever do it. And if another organization that's doing it faster, you want to talk about the KKK? They killed thousands of blacks. Planned Parenthood has killed millions, 19 million. So nobody's having a conversation about that. And this is important because the media gets us obsessed with this idea of white supremacy and the history of the KKK. Thousands of blacks were killed by the KKK, and by the way, so were white Republicans, and we were killed by white Democrats, which is why I'm adamantly opposed to Democrats. But nobody wants to have a conversation about what's really killing Black America.
But black males are probably the most people in prison, so you can't say nothing's being done about it.
Well, first and foremost, what are they locking us up for? Are they locking us up because we're black?
No, you just said we commit the most crimes.
No, but I'm asking you a question. Are they locking us up because we're black?
I never said that.
Okay, so I'm just saying to you that the reason why we're locked up the most is because we're committing the most crimes. We have to fix our communities. It's a real conversation that Black Americans need to have, and I try to do that with the Blexit movement when I target our communities to have these conversations. The idea that white supremacy is the thing that's stopping Black America is a complete and utter myth.
Okay,
and until we're willing to have,
I never said that either.
She's not saying you said that.
I'm not saying you did. I haven't accused you of saying anything. I'm just saying what I'm actually saying. That's it. Okay. The number one issue facing our community is father absence. Father absence, okay?
I disagree, but okay.
Excuse me?
I disagree, but okay.
Okay, well, you said you brought up the prisons, right? If you grow up without a father in the home, you're 20 times more likely to end up behind bars. You want to know who I got that from? President Barack Obama. He talked about the stats of what it does when you destroy the black family. The destruction of the black family, if you want to talk... Oh, wait, I'm not done. The destruction of the black...
All right. Let me hop in on this real quick. Welcome to S.T.V. Philly. Tonight we're going to be looking at the state of race relations, I would say, and the polarization, I think, of people who, like you see on the screen right now, Candace Owen, who's sitting on a college campus. Well, let me just start here. Let's just start with this, okay? Turning Point USA. That's who Candace Owens right now is representing. She's standing on the stage. That's who she's sitting there representing. It's an American nonprofit organization that advocates for conservative values on high school, college, and university campuses. So don't get it twisted. While she might be saying some things that are true, she's not coming at it from a place of trying to help the black community, as she says. She's coming at it from a place of grift, from a place of phoniness and fakeness. She sits there and kisses ass to these people, these racist individuals and these racist organizations. The organization was founded in 2012 by Charlie Kirk. That's Charlie Kirk right there. Yeah. We can get into him a little bit later. But so that's Turning Point USA is a conservative political action group who goes to college campuses basically and has these kind of talks with students and So I just wanted to stop it right there. While she might be saying some things that seem true, or that are true, I should say, she's not coming at it from a place of love, and she's not coming at it from a place of wanting to help the black community. She just has her talking points, and she's just going to run right through them.
Black family happened because of Democrats and what they did in the 1960s. I agree. LBJ and his Great Society Act and the welfare system. We can talk about all of those things. The very last thing we should...
Like I said, she might say some things that are true, but she's not saying them coming from a place trying to make things better. She's trying to stir the pot. She knows the optics of her sitting on the stage with these two individuals. She knows the optics of what she's saying and doing right now.
Talking about, if I had to make a list of 100 things that's really screwing up the black community, white supremacy wouldn't make the list.
But I wasn't even asking you about the black community. I was just saying, you said America wasn't a racist nation.
It's not.
It's not. All right, so look.
It's not today.
The Black Panthers were all locked up and killed by the government.
Are the Black Panthers
True.
here today?
I'm saying the KKK has been around.
True.
How long, and what has the government done for anything to persecute?
You think the KKK is alive today?
Yes, of course.
Oh my gosh!
Okay,
find me one. I want to meet one.
You're saying the KKK doesn't exist?
Now we have a debate.
At all.
Hey, wait. Now we have a debate. So
have you ever met one?
I'm asking you, what are you saying?
You're
about?
saying the KKK doesn't exist at all? What happened?
I'm going to ask you a question.
What did the government do to erase them? What did the government do to erase the KKK? How can you say they don't exist?
You have to slow down. I can't understand what you're saying. What did you say?
That's crazy to me. But how can you say the KKK does not exist today?
Well, I'm going to ask you a question. Where are they?
What do you mean, where are they?
Where do they meet?
They could be judges.
I just thought this is a really big story and CNN should cover it. Where is the KKK?
It's literally an ideology.
No, can you name a leader? Can you name a gathering point? Anything?
Who's the leader? Where are they meeting? In what country? In what city?
Ask me where. I'm not going nowhere near where
because they aren't.
Because they don't. They literally live in the media's head. Have you ever seen a KKK member in a hood? I'm asking you a serious question.
So you're saying the KKK does not exist?
All right, come down. No, come down. I'm dying to see this. Because I have asked every journalist that brings this up since Charlottesville to tell me where the KKK meets.
So, in Houston, Texas, there was an event through a predominantly black neighborhood known as Acres Homes that was protected by the police, and they were escorted through a black community. So that's the issue. So they do exist. They are there.
And they're protected by the police. Protected.
Okay. So I'm asking you a serious question. As a black American, you fear the KKK.
I don't fear any.
Okay. So you saw.
That's where I agree with y'all.
Look, I am from one parish.
No. We're not doing 3-on-1. You can have a time. You can have a time when you get to the mic. I'm asking you a serious question.
Okay.
Of all of the things that.
Let me help you out there, young brother. She's sitting on stage claiming that. Well, I guess the argument she's making is that the KKK is not a threat to black people. And her point is that black people are more of a threat to black people than the KKK. While that might be factually correct in terms of like numbers, but let me just bring this up here. So obviously on the 6th of January this year, we had a insurrection basically at the Capitol of the United States where there was 138 victims wounded, 5 people killed. If this was the Black Panthers or the Boogaloo Boys, like these guys here, who murdered a federal protective service officer in Oakland and killed another person, like these people who shot up this synagogue here. Granted, these are isolated incidents, but to say that, okay, the KKK is one thing, but this article is talking about right-wing extremists, and you can include the KKK in that, but that also it also embroils a lot of other far-right groups, and so the young man's trying to make a point. Candace Owens here, who I think is just a 100% a grifter. She doesn't believe anything she said. This is the same person who sued a couple white boys for calling her the N-word in her college days. Had I think the NAACP stepped in on her behalf, helped her sue for millions.
Black community, you cannot look me in the face and tell me that you really think that the rise of the KKK is a real thing.
But
I won't believe that.
I'm looking at America, not really the black community. Like,
and I'm shocked to hear. You said you've never seen a KKK member. You say that there was one in Texas. What year was it?
It was around the time, around 2008, just before.
2000 and what?
I graduated high school in 2008 in Acres Homes from Carver.
And they were walking down the street in hoods.
Yeah, that was an event there. It was a
Georgia,
huge...
They still have events.
Well, I think we're losing...
Good, yeah, well, let's not lose the focus. Yeah, that's fine. I will definitely look it up. I will look up the Texas event, the KKK walk, but the point that I was making, maybe they did meet once, however, 10 years ago in your town, and I'll definitely look into it because I always want to educate myself. But the point is that neither of you can look me in the face and tell me that you think that the KKK is a real threat to the black community. It's just not true.
When they could be a judge or a doctor or a, you know
No,
what I'm saying?
but the issue here is no one's denying that there are individual racists
in this country.
in a country.
I said America is not a racist country. So you know it's not.
If they're not a racist country, how have they done nothing to persecute KKK members? Like what? David Duke. David Duke is a known...
Candace Owens. This is the same person that in June of last year falsely claimed that George Soros paid people to protest the murder of George Floyd. Afterwards, she argued that Floyd was not a good person, or is, quote, not a good person. I don't care who wants to spin that. She said, the fact that he has been held up as a martyr sickens me. And now she's talking about George Floyd, who was murdered at the hands of police, you know, knee on his neck. Then President Trump retweeted Owens' remarks about Floyd. In a Facebook video garnered nearly 100 million views, Owens called Floyd a horrible human being, citing his criminal record, and called racial biases among police a fake narrative. That's Candace Owens. She claimed that the guilty verdict, and this is after Derek Chauvin was they gave him the guilty verdict. So after the guilty verdict was given to police officer Derek Chauvin for murdering George Floyd, was influenced by, quote, mob justice, supposedly being pushed by mainstream media and the Democrats. This is the same person who got in a feud with Cardi B. Cardi B, the rapper, on Twitter. Owens has been involved in a high-profile feud with rapper Cardi B since August 2020, right after the George Floyd thing. The feud began when Owens retweeted a clip of herself on the Ben Shapiro show in which she criticized Cardi's interview with then presidential candidate Joe Biden. Cardi responded, and they engaged in a highly publicized feud, with Owens insulting Cardi's grammar and intelligence, while Cardi insulted Owens' political stance. Now this is Wikipedia, so they try to be neutral, but it was way worse than that. Cardi B, Candace Owens, has Uncle Tom tendencies. She runs around with very thinly veiled racists, people who aren't very good at hiding it. And so just most people probably know, but just in case you didn't, that's who Candace Owens is, and that's who's on stage arguing with this young college student here who obviously isn't liking what he's hearing out of her mouth.
Own KKK.
But yes, David Duke endorsed a Democrat running for president this cycle. I just have to say that.
Why is he not in prison?
What did you say?
David Duke
Can you put the mic closer to him?
I do have to say,
can't hear him.
It's so marginalized. It's so minimal. The over-emphasis, over-conversation, over-focus. These people are losers. These people have no life. These people are not in mainstream society. These people are not what people try to make it seem.
And this is why I say when you heard me say earlier that I hate when we are the most privileged black people in the entire world, right? We are, plain and simple. The most privileged black people in the entire world live in America today. It's insulting to me because when my grandfather used to tell me the stories about the real KKK, the ones that would come on horseback and shoot into his home in Fayetteville, North Carolina, and do you want to know what my grandfather says about them? He says, and when they used to come around, my dad used to shoot back at them boys. Such an empowering thing when he talks about them. He talks about them like they were children. He tells me stories about when the black mothers would come out and take the hoods off and yell at them and say, is that you, Peter, or whatever their names were? And then when you come up and you say it like, what are we going to do about the KKK members? You're not afraid of them. I know you're not afraid of the KKK members.
I'm not afraid of them.
You're not. You're not. So why are we talking about them? Why are you even giving them the air?
Hello?
For this conversation because you once saw them.
In the 1960s, Candace Owens' grandfather was arguing with KKK members, telling them to take off their hoods, asking, is that you, Peter? Is that you, Bobby? Yeah, who the fuck believes that?
10 years ago,
all America did was change laws, and all they did was have to change their methods. They could have just changed their methods.
But what did they do? Did they shoot and kill? I generally am trying to understand, where are the KKK? Are they killing black people? Because if they are, they definitely should be prosecuted.
There's laws against murder.
I think.
Yes, where are the racists? Where is the KKK? Because I don't see them anywhere, is the argument she's making.
That the issue, the thing he's trying to bring forward is that when you look at the historical treatment of organizations or groups of people of color, whether it's Black Lives Movements or Black Panther and so on, the moment that they were demonized, they were listed as terrorist organizations. Why has it never been that the Ku Klux Klan was demonized or listed as a terrorist organization?
They were never demonized? The Ku Klux
No.
By the government, never.
Has the government
because
ever listed them?
Because they were the government. They were Democrats.
Well, yeah, this is not true. The Oklahoma City bombing was categorized as a terrorist act, so you're incorrect there.
So
the Fort Hood massacre was terrorist.
I was a common engineer. I was trained by some of the same people who knew the guy, so I understand.
So let me ask you a question. Was the Waco complex considered a terrorist organization by the FBI, yes or no?
Who?
The Branch Davidians.
It should be.
Oh, but they were white. You said that never happened against white supremacist organizations.
No, I said the Ku Klux Klan. I'm talking about the Klan.
It is a similar type of...
You see how they try to move the goalposts, switch the argument? He never was talking about the Branch Davidians. He wasn't talking about Waco, Texas. He wasn't talking about Timothy McVeigh, the boy who did the Oklahoma City bomb. That was never tied to the KKK. None of that stuff was ever tied to the KKK. What he's specifically talking about, and the point that they're trying to make, is that the KKK, which by all intents and purposes is a terrorist organization who's been terrorizing the black community for a century and a half now, 150 years probably. Now it's died down. It's not as bad as it once was, say about 100 years ago, even 50 years ago. It's not as bad, but you can go to Google right now and type in KKK March and find 10 of them from this year throughout various cities, different sizes. I mean, this is very easy, debunkable information that she's putting out. I don't know why they insist on. Well, I do know why, but I don't understand how they just put out such easily false information, easily provably false information.
Organization, the Branch Davidians were misinterpretation
for almost the entirety of America.
The Branch Davidians were a white supremacist organization.
As a terrorist organization.
Guys, I'm going to wrap this up because if I genuinely thought that you thought the KKK was alive and well, we'd have a full, long conversation about this. What we're talking about here is that you want to ignore, and this is what genuinely frustrates me so much about the black community, you want to ignore all the really big issues that we should be talking about, okay?
She's frustrated with the black community, so she romps around with a racist organization, going to college campuses, trying to recruit people to the conservative end of the political spectrum, which is, that's really going to help the black community out.
We all know
Candace Owens.
What's going on in our communities. We just had another rapper that was gunned down. We know about black on black crime. We know about abortion. We know about the education system.
Just for the record, black on black crime and racism are two different things. I don't know. They both do involve black people, but last time I checked, they were two different things. She actually mentioned a couple different things. She mentioned a rapper getting killed. Okay. She mentioned, black on black crime. What else is she going to say?
We know about Antifa, which is the closest thing that
Antifa, yeah, that has everything to do with black people. Antifa. What are you talking about?
I've seen the white supremacy since I've been alive is Antifa, which is the modern day KKK.
So I agree with you on all of those.
That show up.
I agree.
Okay. Antifa's not killed one person. Not one person. There's not one documented instance of Antifa, which is an anti-fascist organization, mostly made up of, radical white kids who do counter protests to various right wing groups like the Proud Boys and the Boogaloo Boys and all that. But Antifa has nothing to do with the conversation at all. I actually would like to debate Candace Owens. Like I'm nowhere on her radar. I know I'm not. Like I don't even know how that would ever even happen. She likes doing shit like this, going to college campuses. But yeah, I really would, because that rhetoric shit that she likes to she has a bunch of talking points that she likes to go to, and she sticks to those. And she can't really deviate from that.
Okay? And the media that demonizes, but instead you want to talk about something that you have to pull your memory from 10 years ago when they were walking on the street in Texas.
What do you think started black on black crime? It hasn't always been a big problem as what you're talking about. What do you think started?
I already told you what I thought. Father absence started black on black crime.
And what started the biggest father absence in America in the black community?
Lyndon Baines Johnson in 1964.
Was he not American government? That's what I'm saying.
And let's
Wrong.
do a president.
Look, what I'm saying is I don't really care. I don't care about Democrats and Republicans.
Who is still encouraging father absence?
Democrats and Republicans are the same. It's the same government. That's what y'all don't see. Like
True.
Political parties are literally to divide us because it's
true. She's up there. She wants to push this whole political thing because that's her whole grift. That's her whole sham. Is, you know, she's a black person who's also a Republican or a conservative, whatever the fuck you want to call her. That's her whole grift. That's her whole thing. And if you deviate from that conversation, she can't have that.
No. Democrats and Republicans are the same.
I think you and I agree on the fact that there are problems. What we disagree with is that I am telling you that the left started it, the Democrats started it, and the Democrats are still perpetuating it. And the way that they're able to perpetuate it is by getting you to sit up here and ask me a ridiculous question about the damn KKK when we should be talking about father absence and abortion and black on black crime. Thank you for your question.
So you're saying...
All right, y'all. So we're gonna go from that. Her claims that there's no racism in America. We're gonna take that topic and move forward and see what's going on here. Now, y'all saw the title of the video. Y'all know why we here, but it's a couple things that I want to get into real quick. If you just give me 1 second. S.T.V. Philly is brought to you by your generous donations to the channel. YouTube demonetizes a lot of my videos. So this is basically coming out of the kindness of my heart, let's say. I'm not getting paid to do this, as you can see. If you look down to the chat where you would normally see a money sign to donate to the person, you do not see one because, like I said, YouTube is giving this channel a very hard time. If you want to help the channel out, there are links in the description to donate to my Patreon. There are, you can Cash at me. You could buy me a coffee at buymeacoffee.com, link in the description. And with that out the way, let's continue here. I have an article from October 8th. It comes from The Trace, which is a gun violence, I guess, website, magazine, whatever you want to call it. I want to read a little bit about this. What you're looking at here are a group of black men in Louisiana who decided to exercise their Second Amendment rights to bear arms. And it is called, the way it's being characterized is black people form one of the largest militias in the U.S. Now its leader is in prosecutors' crosshairs. Does that sound familiar to anybody? Is anybody watching this? I know that shit sounds familiar to me. History always repeats itself. All right, let's get into this. In late July 2020, as Louisville, Kentucky fumed in the wake of Breonna Taylor's killing in a botched police raid, a militia group descended on the city. A phalanx of hundreds of black men and women, all clad in black, marched through downtown. Some wore body armor, others had gas masks. They also wore pistols on their belts and carried shotguns and AR-15 style rifles. Sounds like a good time to me. It was the latest rally of the Not Effing Around Coalition. Not fucking around coalition. I'm not getting demonetized. I'm not getting monetized anyway, so I don't gotta censor myself. We going in tonight. The Not Fucking Around Coalition, an armed group that says it's dedicated to protecting black lives from police brutality, and it got the attention of experts who track extremist movements. It was the biggest public display by an armed militia I've ever seen, said J.J. McNabb, a fellow at George Washington University's program on extremism, who has studied the militia movement for 25 years. I don't know if this person is black or white, though. Some of you might say that doesn't matter. It's just a matter of perspective to me. A year later, Not Fucking Around Coalition, as the group is known, was back in Louisville. Its leader, Grandmaster Jay, whose real name is John Fitzgerald Johnson, retained the cocky, still-eyed confidence that has made him a messiah to tens of thousands of black Americans. He wore his trademark body armor and sunglasses in the summer heat and spoke grandly of self-defense, black empowerment, and the creation of a black nation. I don't know if I agree with the creation of a black nation in America, because I just don't see how that would work. One, because, we're outnumbered. Like, let's just be practical for a second. Like, but that's not the main reason. The main reason is I would rather us keep marching and fighting towards equality, and we can all live together. Okay. This time, there was no march before a cheering crowd. The guns were nowhere to be seen, and Grandmaster Jay's troops had shrunk to a small crew of loyalists. As you can see, these guys, they weren't messing around, yo. All right. So, basically, all right, everyone there knew why. Months after a second rally in Louisville, Grandmaster Jay had been charged with assaulting, resisting, or impeding officers while brandishing a firearm. That September night, federal prosecutors claimed Grandmaster Jay aimed his rifle at a group of officers conducting surveillance on a rooftop. Well, if they're conducting surveillance on a rooftop and he's on his property, and he aimed a rifle at them, I mean, I don't want dudes, on rooftops peering at me through binoculars or whatever the hell they had. He might have had people that was looking at them, and he don't know who they are. So he faces 3 to 27 years in prison if convicted of the charges. Since he was arrested, the pandemic has raged and police reform movement has cooled. A judge has barred Grandmaster Jay from possessing a gun while he awaits trial. He can't access social media, cutting him off from perhaps a more powerful weapon. And this is footage from that one rally in Kentucky they had, which was very, I love seeing it. I gave me chills actually seeing this day, and hope that not, as far as like going to war or anything. I don't think this is a aggressive posture here. I think this is, first of all, they have the right to do this, but second of all, seeing as everything that happened last year in terms of the political violence and George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, Ahmaud Arbery, and the other dozens and dozens of unarmed black men that were killed not only by police, but in the case of Arbery, you know, rogue citizens. So I see this and I see self-defense. That's why I say things are always a matter of perspective, because people will see this and see different things. You know, some people might see this and get scared. Some people might see this and feel empowered. Some people might see this and you know, feel like they want a revolution, you know? And some people will see this and just see people exercising their Second Amendment rights. No longer can Grandmaster Jay, can he use his twice daily Instagram shows to rouse hundreds of troops with impassioned calls to arms. Instead, he relies on phone calls and emails. Grandmaster Jay won't talk much about what happened that night, though he said he had a flashlight mounted on his rifle, which he usually carries pointed upwards. He maintains he's just the latest black leader to pick up a gun, only to be quickly targeted by a federal government with a history of suppressing African American groups that dare to challenge the status quo. The Candace Owens says, there is no more racism in America. We are equal. We are the most, what'd she say? We are the most, we are the, I guess, the most privileged black people on the earth, she said. Something to that effect. I don't remember the exact quote. You put me back in the cave, he said in the interview with USA Today and The Trace. It was a methodology used to silence a very powerful voice in the world. While his organization has marched peacefully and respectfully, he said mostly white groups have intimidated protesters and barged into the government buildings carrying weapons with little interference from police. A la the January 6th insurrection, this is last year at the governor's office. Remember when they, in Minnesota, where they, like, all the armed guys went and stood in the Capitol in Michigan, excuse me, not Minnesota, it was the Michigan State Capitol. This guy right here on the left that you see right here with the rifle on his back was arrested in that plot to kidnap Whitmer, Gretchen Whitmer. In certain cases in which white militia groups have confronted law enforcement directly, such as the armed standoff at the Malheur National Wildlife Refuge in Oregon in 2016, the feds have pounced on them. Recently, white members of militia groups have been charged after bringing weapons to demonstrations and altercations around the country. Nonetheless, the federal government's case against Grandmaster Jay follows a long-standing pattern of clampdowns on black Americans who arm themselves. A long-standing pattern of clampdowns on black Americans who arm themselves, from the slave uprisings in the 1800s to the Black Panthers in the 1960s to now the not fucking around. Let me make sure I'm getting this right. Coalition, right? Yes, coalition. Sorry about that. In online videos, Grandmaster Jay has called for his followers to meet police and white supremacists. Violence with violence. Okay, here's where our ideologies might start to splinter a little bit. One, that's not practical. Two, it's not morally correct to me. And three, what's the plan after that? Like, how you gonna have a separate nation within a nation? After George Floyd, look how that's working out for not Hong Kong, but what's that other little country over there in China? That wants to be separate from China. All right. After George Floyd, a black man was murdered by Minneapolis police officer Derek Chauvin. The NFAC leader issued a threat apparently directed at officers like him. He said, quote, "If you kill us, we kill you. You point fucking blank," he said in the video. "If we can't get you, we're going to go after your family members. If we can't get them, we're going to go after the church members. If we can't get them, we're going to go after your coworkers. And if we can't get them, fuck it, we'll just go after anybody." Now, these are statements that I do not condone, I do not agree with, and I think were wrong of him to make. I just want to make that clear. Unlike white militias, which feed off misinformation and unfounded conspiracy theories, the fuel for NFAC's fire has been on display for anyone to see. Floyd was killed as the nation was grappling with the frequency with which black men die at the hands of police officers. Since 2015, 137 unarmed black people have been fatally shot by police. Now this is different from the homicide rate because you're talking about criminals committing crimes, not pledged peace officers who are supposed to protect and serve, killing unarmed civilians. These are two separate things, two separate topics, two separate problems, and two separate solutions. Having more black fathers at home is not going to stop the police from killing us unarmed. Having more funding for education is not going to stop police from killing unarmed black people. Okay? So these are two separate issues, two separate problems, two separate solutions. According to the Washington Post, that was the 137 people fatally shot figure, according to the Washington Post. Meanwhile, white supremacist groups have flourished and hate crimes against non-white victims rose. It was in this environment of racial reckoning that NFAC was born and quickly muzzled. Now, if you want to read the rest of this article, you can go to thetrace.org. It'll be on the front page when you go there. We're going to move on from this, but I just wanted to just bring that to light to some people. What's going on with Mr. John Fitzgerald Johnson. So that's that. All right, let me see something here. You guys can hold on 1 second. Check my stream, hopefully with y'all. All right. Now, I'm sorry I haven't been responding to no comments. What's up, y'all? I see y'all. Lil Mare. What up? What up, Kensington? Rep the struggle. Right. She's not putting them in the proper context. She's manipulating information to fit white sense of nature. Yep. And she retained NAACP. Yep. Okay. I'm sorry I wasn't seeing y'all comments until now. Like a channel would give her a chance. She makes a good point. No, Candace Owen does not. She does make okay points. She's not right though. Links do not work in the chat. I'm sorry about that. All right, people had to dip. They had school. Okay, listen. What we're gonna do is we're getting into the MOVE bombing from 1985. We're gonna watch a little We're gonna watch a little movie. Self-Made. I can't get no links in here. If you're trying to send a link, I'm sorry, brother. I cannot get no links in here. Oh, did y'all hear about? Sorry about that. Did y'all hear about the city paid $1.2 million to the widow of a man shot by Philadelphia police officer? Dennis Plowden Jr. was shot in the head and hand by then officer Eric Ruck Jr. following a car chase and crash in East Germantown in December 7, 2017. I am going to be making a whole S.T.V. Philly, proper S.T.V. Philly video on this. Look out for that in the next coming weeks. I was gonna do a video on this MOVE thing going on here, but Yeah, 1.2 isn't enough, I don't think. It's not worth his life. It's definitely not worth his life. But I am going to be doing a proper S.T.V. Philly video on this. With that said, in the spirit of the Philadelphia police and the way they treat our people in this city, we are going to watch this documentary together. It's called Let the Fire Burn, and it is about the 1985 incident that had been going on for decades with an organization called MOVE, which is not an acronym. It does not stand for any, like, those letters don't mean a certain meaning. Let's get into it.
Camera.
All right.
Michael, you remember me from the last time you and I talked about a week ago? You see this camera over here, you're going to have to say yes so that camera can take down everything you say, because that camera can't take down something when you shake your head. Can you say yes for us? Let me hear you say yes.
Yeah.
Oh, that's pretty good. How about a little bit louder than that?
Yes.
And we talked about what happened on the 13th of May. You remember that?
Yeah.
Now, Michael, do you know what it is to tell the truth about things? You're going to have to say yes. You can't shake your head. Okay. And what does it mean when you have to tell the truth about things?
Don't lie.
Don't lie. That's right. And do you know what happens to people who lie?
Yeah.
What happens to them?
They get hurt.
They get hurt.
Yes, the big story on Action News tonight is the effort to evict MOVE from its house on the 6200 block of Osage Avenue. The effort has turned into a disaster.
The fire is now 5 alarms, still raging out of control, as you can see.
An unknown number of heavily armed MOVE members continue at large, possibly roaming the alleyways.
Going in, everybody knew that MOVE would resist anything.
While the police will say that they come here to arrest people, we have done nothing wrong.
We do not want policemen killed. We do not want the people in the house killed.
Fellow officer James Ramp was killed 7 years ago. They will never forget that.
Thank you, Nasir.
Okay, this is unconfirmed. We've got to emphasize this is unconfirmed. But Channel 10 technician Fran Hardy reports
Since that incendiary device was dropped out of that helicopter, nobody around here has ever seen anything like this. We expect that maybe 60, perhaps more homes have gone up in flames.
I stand fully accountable for the actions that took place tonight.
How did an attempt to arrest MOVE members become an inferno that killed 11 people and destroyed 61 homes?
You can call the group reactionists, revolutionaries, terrorists.
There was a decision to let the fire burn.
Shit, y'all. I don't think we can do this. I think they about to cut my jaw. Man, I wanted to watch this with y'all, but it's telling me right here on my stream that they might cut it. Because this is obviously a documentary that is not mine, so shit. Well, all right, so here's what we're gonna do. I did want to watch this with y'all, but I don't think we can. The same thing happened with the Meek Mill John the last time. Meek Mill cut my stream off. All right, so what we can do, I think, is I can pause it and talk. I can't just let it play straight through. So that's what we're gonna try to do here. I think that's what I'm gonna try to do here is, yeah, we definitely could do it on Discord. We could do it. We could definitely do it on Twitch. You know what? I think that is what I'm going to do. I think I'm going to move over to Twitch so we can watch this. I don't care if four people come over. You know what I mean? Twitch.tv, S.T.V Philly. YouTube is not going to let me continue with this. Yeah, I know you had to make it your work. I know, but yeah, I know. They don't. Not everything is in the system for the copyright system. So, I mean, like, there's certain videos you can play, but yeah, you're right, Kensington. I would, if usually that's what I do is I make things my work. I've never just flat out played a documentary on my channel. But so yeah, YouTube is not gonna allow that. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna sign off of here. I'm going to go on to twitch.tv. Listen, y'all, it's free to make an account. It takes literally 2 seconds to make a Twitch account. I mean, Twitch is a little bit different than YouTube, a little bit different vibes over there. But it is what it is. But so that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna move over there. I will see y'all in a couple minutes if you want to come on over. Like I said, it's free, it's easy, it takes 2 seconds to make an account. Come on over, and I will see y'all in a minute. I really wish I could do it on here on YouTube, but it told me in my YouTube studio, it said we've detected copyrighted audio and video, and your stream may end soon. So yeah, that's where we're at. All right. I've been seeing the news say about every day young teens being shot, and chances are pretty high they're being shot by other young teens. Is it not anywhere near normal? 427 reported murders at no, that is wait, you're asking? Oh, you're just saying it's not anywhere near normal. I know it's not. Stay out the streets, y'all. The streets is a lie. The streets is a fucking lie. It's lying to young brothers. But yeah, post my Twitch link. That's what I'll do. Give me 1 second. That's exactly what I'll do. All right, let's see here. Hold on, I'm going to grab it. There ain't no retirement fund. Like they don't pay you. There ain't no 401ks in the NBA. My fault. That is my Twitch stream just started playing from my last job. All right. Let's see. Hold up. I gotta go to this. Edit. All right. Edit. No. All right. Hold up 1 second. Oh, that was all right. All right, if y'all refresh this page, or it might be, if look and see if it's in the description, but if not, just refresh the page and the link will be in the description. I'll see y'all over on Twitch if y'all want to come hop on over, and we'll finish watching this movie. Listen, this documentary is real good. It's real good. Like, I mean, it's something you could just chill, fall back, watch. And this is history that really needs to be known by everybody. I don't believe they don't teach this in school. Listen, there should be a monument over on Osage Ave. Well, I'll talk about all this as documentary plays, but there should definitely be a monument over on Osage Ave for this. And millions paid out to the people who survived. I'll see y'all in a second. Well, come over on Twitch, twitch.tv/STV Philly. Yeah, it's that simple.